Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. We have a really long pitch notes today for FIFA 21 deep dive, so it could be like a podcast today. I'm not really sure exactly how long this video is going to be because there is a lot of information to consume over here. So let's get to the important parts here in regards to all of the specifics. Okay, so here is one thing right here. So showcasing the personality of players who are talented in multiple areas and shine brightly in the world's game, blah, blah, blah. To achieve that, we are increasing the number of attributes that are used to decide each action's quality, animation speed, and effectiveness. For example, in the past, a through pass used the short or long passing attribute to determine quality. However, in FIFA 21, a through pass is a mix of short and long passing, vision, and composure attributes. Okay, so it's all four of them this time, which should be interesting. This change will allow us to take player responsibilities. I keep saying responsibilities from personalities. I don't know why. Player personalities to the next level, and you will see this term used as we highlight spots where this concept will have an impact in FIFA 21. Agile dribbling. So agile dribbling is a brand new way to keep close control of the ball in FIFA 21. Inspired by some of the best dribblers in real life, agile dribbling is intended to give you the ability to quickly move the ball from side to side to help dribblers get away from defenders, and to use fast footwork to help you create space by tricking defenders into overcommitting to tackles. So overcommitting to tackles is like this one. We were doing this in the trailer reaction, where once you bring the ball back a little bit right here and he overcommits, then you can kind of push it to the side here, okay? To perform agile dribbling, hold R1 or RB while moving the left stick. You will notice the dribbler moving the ball with rapid and precise touches. Every player in the game can agile dribbler. However, the higher a player's dribbling, agility, reactions, ball control attributes, the four main ones we talk about in FIFA, the quicker, more precise, and better they will be at keeping the ball at their feet. Okay? We're also introducing contextual agile dribbling. This mechanic is optional, but it is enabled by default. When enabled, it will make your players automatically perform agile dribblers in certain situations. Going to disable that probably. For example, when in a 1v1 situations against an opponent, this mechanic can be turned off in the controller settings screen. More info in the sections, okay? To achieve a more dynamic dribble, regardless of the technique you are using, we also improve player agility and animation transitions when performing left stick dribbling and strafe dribbling using L1 as introduced last year, okay? Again, words instead of actions. We have to try out the game, obviously. Creative runs. We want to make sure that you have more control over how your attacking AI players move. With creative runs, we've included new options to influence how your AI teammates move off the ball, providing more creative ways to break down your opponent's defense. As you guys know from the player reviews, when we analyze a player's off-the-ball movement, it is a big significance to a player, right? It's whether or not a player they fit that meta criteria or they don't, right? Like I was just playing a game right now in FIFA 20, and honestly, the fact that this exists in the new game, it bothers me to play this game because the runs that they make in this game, for me not to utilize empty space when I see it is really irritating. So now you can see they have different types of runs for attacking AI. So player reviews next year is definitely going to be about the base attacking AI from a player, but it is also going to be based off of the runs that you choose to make as well. So that should be very interesting. Okay, so you can now take full 360 control over the direction of the runs of your teammates by flicking the right stick after triggering an L1, then flick right stick. By flicking the right stick after triggering a run, L1, LB, then flick right stick. L1 and then flick the right stick. So is the right stick the pass? Like when you hold L1 and you do the right stick, that's the pass, and he'll just make the run afterwards, I guess? By flicking the right stick after triggering a run. After triggering a run, okay, I got you. Or after calling a teammate short R1, then flick right stick, okay? It's after. Directed pass and go. Decide where your teammate makes their run after a pass by immediately flicking the right stick in the desired direction. This feature works with any type of pass: ground pass, law pass, through ball pass, or even crosses. Ground pass example, XA, then flick right stick, okay? So it's the same thing we were reviewing in the trailer, how when you make the initial pass like that, they just run into the space. They do actually run in angles as well. It's not completely in a straight line, because I noticed that Salah does it in this example right here. I don't think they show the very beginning part. They do actually, so you can see he runs straight down, but then makes an angle right there, you see? And he does two different angles. So it's not completely in a straight line, which is good because straight lines are more linear. Angled runs to utilize empty space is a little bit better. You can have up to 5 players performing a directed run or directed pass and goal simultaneously. 5 players? Okay. Well, that I'm going to have to see how that plays out during the game. Player lock. So press in both sticks, L3 and R3 at the same time to lock to your current player when in attack. When you're locked to a player and pass the ball, the CPU AI will then take control of the on-ball player, allowing you to move your off-ball player and ask for a pass in a better position. So this is a thing that PES has had in their game forever, right? Where you could basically control the run of a person that you see could potentially make a better run, and then your person who is controlling the ball will be AI controlled, right? Which is a really good thing to have in a football game, because like I said, there are certain spaces where nowadays with attacking AI, they do not utilize, so you need to utilize it yourself, which is great, because it makes more players usable. Again, base attacking AI is going to be important, obviously, but having all these players, you know, being able to move in certain ways, even if they don't do it themselves, it just makes players more usable, which is awesome, right? For more control, flick the right stick anytime after using the player lock described above to switch and lock to another player, taking control of your teammate's movement along the way. So this is the example here. You could see that once he makes that pass, you can kind of just run into the empty space yourself. This is AI controlled, so he's not going to do anything like crazy, right? For all these mechanics, there's a limited time window for you to trigger the direction of the run in order to prevent conflicts with skill moves, knock-ons, and player switching. As such, the sooner you could perform the right stick flicking, the better chance you have to successfully pull it off, making sure to practice. Make sure to practice to get the timing correct. Yeah, this is a lot of like skill game stuff, man. You have to like, this is, you can't just get into a game of FIFA and not practice this stuff, because this is drastically important in regards to attacking AI, right? So if you get the game, if you get your hands on the games, you got to do skill games like right away. To support this new feature, there's a trainer option that shows the path of the AI player. Don't care about the trainer option, to be honest. Positioning personality. In FIFA 21, we are focusing on adding deeper AI player personality in positioning, both offensively and defensively, to ensure the ability of football's greatest players on the virtual pitch matches up to their real-world counterparts. We want players who are tactically aware to have a bigger impact in FIFA by being in the right place at the right time to shoot, pass, or block the ball. While we made a lot of improvements throughout multiple areas of the AI positioning system, we want to focus our explanation on a few specific behaviors that will showcase the personality and the depth of this system. 2 main attributes dictate how good players will be at these behaviors: positioning for attacking personality and defensive awareness for defensive personality. Okay, that's good. The details that follow, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so attacking, positioning, attribute, impact. The positioning attribute can impact many elements of attacking personality and the specific behaviors below scale according to the player's attributes. This means that an attribute of 85 might feel good and have a pronounced effect, but 90 is significantly better and 99 is exponentially superior. Onside and offside runs. Awareness to know when to slow down and time the run to perfectly stay onside. This behavior will be overridden when using fast build-up tactics. Ooh, hold on. This behavior will be overridden when using fast build-up tactics and or getting behind player instructions, as the intent of those is to focus more on using speed to break down the defense. Positioning low, positioning high. So positioning low. So you could still use positioning low, right? It's just that they won't compensate, right? So positioning high, there's obviously compensation if you're the one that's late, right? So you're late, he holds his run. But it's obviously always nice to have players that have that. So you can see even in this situation right here, the flick up pass to score the volley is still going to be a relevant goal to score, right? Flick it up and then boom. Passer readiness runs. Understanding of when the ball possessor is ready to make a pass, the player can time in their run perfectly, or can time their run perfectly. High attribute players will show intelligent timing and movement based on where the passer is facing and moving. This behavior will be overridden when using fast build-up tactics and are getting behind player instructions as well. Blah, blah. Okay, so decision-making, time, and intelligence, the ability to make faster and accurate decisions on where and when to move. Higher positioning attribute players will decide where to move quicker and smarter. Passing lane analysis, understanding of spaces to determine where the next best move to receive a pass is, providing more options for passers and teammates. Behaviors that will only happen when a player has very high positioning attribute. Open up space, ability to create separation between attackers and defenders when the defense is tight, or to provide more passing options. Happens mostly with diagonal runs. There are available spaces. What's this one? Hold on. Pass. He goes off to the side, creates a space. Oh, so he actually backs up here. Okay, so he's making the run. Oh, interesting. Okay, so no, that's noticeable. They don't do that often in this game. That'll be a noticeable thing. Like the fact that he backs off from the defender, because in that situation you should just manually use a defender and then pick and choose your poison, basically, right between the two. Ideal crossing positioning, understanding of the best open space in the box to beat defenders during dangerous in-play crossing situations. This is not applied to set-piece plays. Fake runs in the box. Ooh. Creating forward fake runs and then pulling back to be available for a cutback pass options or changing run direction from a near post to far post. Fake run. So it's kind of like you do that run and you go to the opposite direction. That's pretty cool. Chance creation support. AI forwards are more aware of the lack of passing options and will drop back to the midfield to support teammates in order to help in build-up play. Yeah, only some players do that. It's like a characteristic that players need to have. For instance, if you use someone like Alexis Sanchez as a striker in a 4-2-3-1 nowadays, the Summer Heat one, he's one of those players that will drop into the midfield and rotate with the cam to receive the ball. So maybe it'll be a more consistent thing for other players. Defending defensive awareness attribute impact. Okay, so run tracking. Ability to track a run and anticipate one before it happens with highly aware defenders doing a much better job at staying with their runners. Okay. Two-man marking to prevent counterattacks. Ability for two high attribute defenders to mark a striker so they have limited space to avoid a counterattack. Requires two AI teammate players, each with very high defensive awareness attributes, defensive midfielder diligent tracking, the ability to intelligently mark and track runs by attackers without giving up or leaving them open. They will track dangerous attacking opponents even if they are already marked by a teammate due to the scale of the threat. Defensive midfielder cutting passing lanes, awareness to position themselves in order to cut off passing lanes and limit the opponent's options, requires an AI teammate in a defensive midfield capacity with a very high defensive awareness. Oh, he chases after you now. And then you're manually controlling. Oh, wait, hold on. This is what you're manually controlling. Oh. Boom. Ooh, defender reviews are going to be different next year then. Okay. They don't do that in this game either. I can guarantee you that. I do so many defender reviews, they don't do this. Because then you switch to him there and then receive possession of the ball. Okay. That's if the switching is good, obviously. What else we have here? Requires an attack. Okay. Active versus passive winger behaviors determines how active wingers can get when having to perform defensive duties such as marking, defensive positioning, and tracking runs. Fullback cooperation, better awareness of the teammates' fullback positioning, allowing them to better work together when marking. When one fullback pushes up, the other will cover and become more aware to mark and track attackers. Fullbacks with high defensive awareness attributes are more effective defending runs on the far side of the pitch than players with a lower one, obviously. So that specific stat's going to be apparently very important. Smoother encounters. To promote a smoother game flow in FIFA 21, we created new animation systems and combined them to better decide how players interact physically with each other. This will reduce the amount of chaotic situations in the game. The main focus points of this system revolve around better understanding of running paths to prevent players running into each other. Yes. Refined system to enable players to jump over and avoid fallen players. It depends. That one's always like a 50-50 with your game. It's very random. Sometimes you don't even want them to fall over because it's just an unnecessary animation. If a collision does happen, players will adjust their body to avoid head-on collision and receive a smaller impact. Okay, that's good for you to be able to control the player like instantly. FIFA 20. Hold on. Chill. FIFA 20, come on. Okay. Oh, I see. Right? That one happens a lot. So it's goalie, defender, instantly responds to it. This one is goalie, doesn't just respond to it, falls over unnecessarily. Boom. Goes back, doesn't play. Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, I like that actually. Yeah, that's fine too. The intention for the system is for key moments in the match, like battles for possession or net front scrambles, to result in more lifelike encounters as players strive to get the ball, rather than situations where players may have unrealistically fallen over one another trying to get the ball previously. This is the one I was showing in the trailer as well. So this part right here, where the initial tackle is not possession based, and this tackle right here is just so annoying. This one right here, I hate that tackle so much. This one is definitely a better example where they do the slide tackle, and then once he does a slide tackle and it's possession based, the other guy can just smoothly get the ball and keep it going, which is really cool, right? Because I think this guy is manually using that defender right there. If he's not manually using that defender, that's poor defensive awareness right there. So we'll see what's up with that. Enhanced CPU AI in competitor mode. In FIFA 21, we added a new setting called competitor mode, designed to refresh the CPU AI in career mode and foot squad battles. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm going to skip right past that one. Fundamentals of football. Throughout the FIFA 20 cycle, we received feedback from the core community around the fundamentals of football. With that in mind, our team has put a lot of effort into translating that FIFA. Okay, headers. I never like headers in FIFA because there's never really a skill to them unless you make it a certain way. Let's see what's... Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what's up with this. In FIFA 20, we made the decision to make heading less effective, which is the right decision, resulting in less goals being scored from headers as part of our effort to promote skill differentiation and the idea that most of the goals that are scored are the direct result of player actions. Yes. To be fair, they did do that. In FIFA 20, the headers are completely garbage because they're RNG based. Unless EA themselves make it skill based, like you can't really make it a thing, right? It is their fault still that you can't really score a header, but it's like a hardcore patch basically, you know. In FIFA 21, to improve the viability of scoring with headers while keeping a skill gap in the game, we are introducing manual heading. To enable this option, a player would set the assisted headers option to off, as detailed later in the article. When playing with this option, your headers will not be assisted in any way, with the aim and power used when performing the header determining the initial target for the header before the header is then potentially impacted by error. We believe that this function will allow for more opportunities to use heading to create or convert offensive chances, while sticking to the intention of having most of the goals scored be the result of direct player action. How is it done? It's too fast. I want to see the timing of it. It looks pretty typical. If that's manual heading, it's the same, really. You just get into the box and you score the header. When playing with this options, okay, we believe that's an allowed player. Okay. In addition to ensure fairness in competitive modes across FIFA, playing with manual heading will be mandatory in the following modes. Mandatory, okay. All foot modes, including foot champs, foot rivals, and foot squad battles. All pro clubs modes, FIFA seasons, FIFA co-op seasons, and FIFA online friendlies. Okay, my only concern with this is that all foot modes, including foot champions, foot rivals, and foot squad battles, I really hope you guys don't use co-op for Ultimate Team as your new game mode. You need I hate this game mode with a deep passion, okay? But if it's in the game, but you have that other game mode, then fine. I don't know if you guys have revealed all your game modes yet, but I'm telling you, if you guys yet again did not add a good game mode again, and you have foot rivals as your mode again, I'm gonna be pissed, man. I'm being dead serious, because last year I already told you guys within the first 2 months that it was garbage. You guys did the same thing this year, and you thought online friendlies was your new game mode, which it isn't. It's complete trash. And then, you know, you do it another year, and then you make co-op your regular game mode, like. But we'll see, because I like this game mode. I'll accept this game mode, even though I think it sucks. This, I understand for the people that want to play against the AI, so completely understandable. But if you don't have another game mode with draft, I'm going to be super upset, man, because that's going to be really irritating. Players can still choose to play with the assisted heading setting turned on in other modes and with the competitive modes in FIFA, all using manual heading. We have improved the accuracy and consistency of assisted headers as well, allowing for more ways to score in the modes where assisted headers is available. Okay, so defending is an interesting one. Based on community feedback, we improved the controlled tackling system. No, you didn't, because in that trailer, you guys did a head-to-head tackle that was complete garbage. So this is bullshit so far, okay? A lot of work, because you guys said this last year, and you guys completely messed it up. A lot of work went towards adding player personality for tackling, allowing for the top players to stand out and be more accurate when practicing or predicting where the ball will be in order to make the best tackle. Multiple attributes are used to differentiate the effectiveness of players when performing a tackle. For example, when performing a standing tackle, we will now use a combination of the standing tackles, defensive awareness, and aggression attributes. We also reworked shoulder challenges and seal outs to make them more effective and more realistic. Yeah, because in this game, when you want to do like a seal out or quote unquote seal out, your player doesn't even get possession of the ball. He just seals out and then just moves to the other side. The guy could just run in a straight line. Shoulder challenges have been reworked to create better contact between players and avoid the defender overshooting their opponent. Seal-outs are when a player puts themselves between the attacker and the ball to take back possession or shepherd the ball out of play, and they also have been re-engineered to create a better positioning between the player and their opponent. To perform a shoulder challenge or seal-out, tap the L2 button while it's side by side with your opponent when defending. So it's the same thing nowadays, pretty much. Okay, so blocking. We are excited to be refreshing blocking in FIFA 21. The team has completely rewritten the blocking system and added it to the controlled tackling technology, created more reliable and realistic blocks when defending shots and passes. To ensure the contrast between good and the best players, we added player personality via their attributes to make sure that the system is balanced. A player attributes will determine the effectiveness of a block, how far away from the ball a player can block, how long it takes to start the block animation, and how well you can react and transition into a different block animation if something changes, and how long it takes to recover from the block. To be fair to them, in the trailer, when they did the defensive AI blocks, it was really cool that you could make the initial block, and then you don't need like a different scene to do the other block. They would just transition into the other tackle, which was pretty cool. I actually like that a lot. Animations-wise, it was pretty awesome. Passing. The goal for this year is to create a more intelligent passing game. The main focus here is to improve the passing system by adding a better understanding of space and the opponent's position in order to pass towards a target that makes sense for the receiver in the situation. Through passing, the system was rebuilt from the ground up to improve possible pass targets, receiver selection, and increased player personality. In addition, new concepts were introduced like pass openness, providing smart passers with the ability to open up the pitch by leading the receiver away from opponents. Pass complexity, new passing trajectories and targets are possible, allowing for killer through balls that will put the receiver in a great scoring opportunity. There's also a new semi-assisted through ball system setting that takes into consideration your controller input angle to decide the target of the pass and give you more control. More of this later in the article. Crossing. The system was remodeled to create more unique crosses that help players to get the most of their build-up play or of the build-up. There are a number of new crossing trajectories in FIFA 21. Whipped cross, R1, RB, L1, LB, and cross. Inspired by Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold, these fast and dangerous crosses travel through the box and are perfect for a teammate to just put their head in the way. That's probably going to be the most effective one, because when a cross is super hard, a player doesn't really have to put too much effort into heading the ball because the cross has been done so well, right? Driven cross, similar to whipped crosses, the cross is fast and dangerous, but tends to travel at waist height, being ideal for a volley or a shot. Ground-driven cross. Ground-driven cross. Oh, so you tap it again. X to square. RB, R1, X. Oh, I see. Okay, so you have to double tap it. Interesting. Updates to the cross assistant setting. Assisted, this is now the default setting and is similar to how semi-assisted setting worked in previous FIFA titles. Semi-assisted, we have updated this setting to bring in more in line with how the other semi-assisted... Okay. Combined with the existing standard cross trajectories, high cross, L1, X. Oh, square X. Sorry, it's because I play on both consoles. I get confused by the two sometimes. Ground cross and have multiple crossing options for you to try. Other improvements, adding the pass openness concept that's covered in the through pass section to ground passes. Improvements to the target and trajectories of lobs and lob through passes. Lob passes, they kind of like died out a little bit because lob passes is like a really skilled pass in real life, and it'd be nice to be able to use them a little bit more often if you're defending properly. Ability to perform last-second animation transitions allows you to change directions for your lob or lobbed through pass. Multiple new animations that provide quicker and more efficient passing plays, better trajectories for clearances to avoid teammates, opponents, and your goal. Animation fluidity. We improved our animation transition system, allowing for faster transitions which support a more fluid and responsive experience. That was the most noticeable for the defending, I would say. Giving players more control. Increase control. Bridge and nutmeg skill moves. New ways to beat opponent in 1v1. Bridge skill R1, then R1, only forward direction. Bridge skill R1, 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 R1. Okay. Directional nutmeg, L1, RB, right stick. Okay. Cancel foul advantage. Oh, you guys actually give that option now. Okay, finally. You actually give that option now. Allows a player to ask for the foul instead of keeping the advantage of the play, providing you with more agency to decide which option is better suited for each moment. And finally, you guys do that, because there's so many times, honestly, where, like, you know, you're kind of like, you receive a free kick, and the only way for you to get that free kick is to stand still, but then sometimes standing still doesn't even get you the foul anyways, and then the guy just gets the ball. So L2, R2 allows a player to ask for the foul instead of keeping the advantage of the play. So I can just L2, R2, boom, give me the foul. So that's good. Instant hard tackles, R1, circle B. Okay, the ability to perform hard tackles instantly without having to hold and power up the tackle button. Oh, good. You guys took that out. Good. Good. Now it's an actual command you do to do the hard tackle. So instead of holding it to do the hard tackle, okay, good. Set up touch 2.1 or 2.0. R1 right stick flick in the direction. That's the first time touch, the one that De Bruyne did in the trailer, basically. So you just hold R1 and then you go in the direction you want to go towards, which is very helpful from time to time, actually. It's just not like that crazy in this game, to be fair. Improved finesse shots. Oh, improved finesse shots. Do I need the traits for the finesse shots? R1 circle, the curve attribute will now have significantly more influence over a finesse shot's ball curl. There are also been a focus on using player personality for these shots, along with a cleanup and rebalance of all finesse shot animations. So maybe we don't necessarily need the traits for them to always consistently hit them well. Maybe, who knows? Call players into the box on goal kicks. R1 to call for support, allow teams to start the build-up play in a safer and more controlled approach. Oh, so I can actually call them inside the box. That's good. Some teams may have defenders in the box by default, as this is based on tactics. For example, this happens when playing with teams that use the possession tactic. Yeah, possession tactic, even in this FIFA, does the same thing, where the players are just already close to you. But you should be able to do that without the specific tactic. You should be able to just press a button before the animation is done, before you take the goal kick, and they should be close to you if you want them to be close to you. I don't think a specific attacking tactic is what should be the case of them doing that. I think that's really weird. If a team wants your players close, then they're going to be close, right? Improve super cancel mechanics. Added a variety of ways to cancel actions, giving you more control over your moves on the pitch. Great for situations where you want to surprise opponents that are able to anticipate your moves by paying attention to your player animations. Hard super cancel. L2, R2, L1, R1 allows players to go into free move in any situations except when dribbling with the ball. That's hilarious, because when I played PES, that's basically the super cancel in PES, right? Same exact concept, where you press two buttons and then you can move freely. I remember because I was talking to Jamie about that, like when I was there last year, and I was like, oh no, it wasn't Jamie. I wasn't talking to them in person. It was a DM, and I was mentioning to him how, because we were talking about like what was good in PES and stuff, and I was like, super cancel is one of the best features in the game. Just being able to freely move wherever you want, where it's not like specifically stuck on an animation of you going to specific positions, is awesome. So it's cool that they've now copied a few things from PES, right? Off the ball movement, attacking AI wise from PES, and now they got the super cancel thing. So I mean, to be honest with you guys, I'm pretty happy about that. That and the fact that goalkeepers dive a certain way for you to be able to potentially hit chip shots against them. Three really big things that I really liked in PES. Everything else I thought was garbage. I'm sorry for the PES guys, but they've added those to FIFA now, so you know the vibes. Pass shot cancel. Allows you to cancel any pass or shot request and continue dribbling with the ball. L2, R2. Back ones? Okay. You have to learn all these new commands. Like, these are things you 100% have to learn when you play the game. Like, this pitch notes you have to remember and look at to remember everything, because it's going to be too important, bro. L2, R2. The skill games is going to be the biggest thing to play in the beginning, for sure. Another way to cancel a shot or lob is by pressing X, similarly to a fake shot, but after the passing animations have started. Note that this will make the game more responsive than ever while keeping clean visuals. Skill moves cancel. I like that. Skill moves cancel. L2 LT or R2 RT allows user to cancel specific skill moves during the move. More info on which moves can be canceled in the skill moves. That's going to be an overpowered thing for sure. I know this for a straight fact. There's going to definitely be an exploit for that. There's going to be a combination of a specific skill move that you're going to do where you see how the goalie dives. Okay, I just need to point this out. So they dive the same way. You might be able to do a ball roll touch still, eh? Acceleration touch across the goalkeeper as well. You see how they dive? Allows you to chip. I like that. I like the concept of it, though. I do, but I know there's going to be something for sure. These are all on and off features. So as we mentioned a few times before, one of the biggest goals we have for FIFA is to give you more control, okay? Auto flare passes. Oh, thank God, man. On, players will perform flare passes contextually in appropriate situations. Off, players will never perform flare passes unless the flare modifier is held. Thank you. I can actually turn this off now. Thank you. I literally hate the flare trait in this FIFA because they just do them if they want to do them. So thank God. Auto clearances on by default. Players will perform clearances contextually in appropriate situations. I can turn that off now too. Thank God. Outfield players will never perform clearances unless the clearance button is pressed. This setting does not apply to goalkeepers as they have their own clearance system. Good. Auto shots. Players will perform an automatic shot contextually in appropriate situations. Players will never perform automatic shots. I'm turning all of this off because I cannot, like, dude, even if my player scores from an auto shot, like, I really hope it's not like some overpowered thing that you have to use because I like feeling like I'm playing the game. You know what I'm saying? Like a clearance that I'm not doing, a flare pass that I'm not doing. All of this is turned off by me. In my head, I cannot deal with these things being on, okay? Player lock on by default. The player lock, we'll see. It really depends on the game's out, though. What's effective, what's not, right? It's always different from when you actually play it. Let me just decrease this a little bit over here. Player lock on by default. The player lock feature described in the creative run section of this article will be available for use. The player lock feature will not be available for use. No, that's going to be on. I need to practice that. Contextual agile dribbling on by default. Enable contextual agile dribbling for left stick. Dribbling in one-on-one situations. No contextual agile dribbling unless... No, that's going to be off too. I need to do that myself. Assisted headers on by default. Well, this one you have to disable because it's going to be in most of the modes, I guess, right? That's what they were... Or the manual heading or whatever, right? There are a number of modes that will have this set up to off to ensure fairness and competitive. So you're going to do that off anyways. Through ball assistance, semi for a full breakdown, cool. Cross, don't really care about crosses. I hate crosses. So directed runs indicator on by default. Show the directed runs indicator when a player performs a directed pass and go on a directed run. Will not show the directed runs indicator. Will not show the okay, cool. Definitely down for all of that. Skill move improvements. We've made some very important changes and improvements to skill moves in FIFA 21. General improvements: reduce the penalty and error for chaining skill moves. Increase the number of complex skill moves that you can chain without the ball getting away to 3 up from 2 in FIFA 20 and FIFA 20. Increase the number of complex skill moves that you can chain without the ball getting away to 3 up to 2. Complex skill moves example include Elastico, Drag Back, and La Croqueta. Increase the number of normal skill moves that you can chain without the ball getting away up to 6. Getting away to 6 up from 3 in FIFA 20. Normal skill moves. Oh, yeah, that's right. I know that one. Normal skills moves example include stop and turn, fake shot, and heel to heel. Okay. Easy skill moves example, ball roll or step over can be changed without penalty. Oh, cool. I like that. Note that the number above represent the values possible if you execute exactly what is laid out above and will vary slightly in other situations. For example, chaining up to 6 normal skill moves is possible, but the value would change if one of the skill moves was a complex skill move. Yeah, obviously. Remapped drag back to be L1, R1 plus left stick in 180 degree of player facing angle. Added player personality to drag back, making it slower for lower skill move rating players. Also, they nerfed it, thank God, because drag back is a stupid skill move. It's good if it's done naturally, you know what I'm saying, but not like the way it's done in this FIFA. It's done because it's effective, and I hate stuff that are done because it's effective instead of it being done because it's cool, you know what I'm saying? Technical improvements to create a more reliable skill move detection system. Details around some of the changes can be found in the gameplay responsiveness section below. Ball distance was made closer for rainbow flicks. Close to Rainbow Flicks and Flicks. Great leniency to allow the triggering of a skill move when the combination of the right stick. Okay, prioritize execution over sprint requests. All players can now perform right stick skill moves, but their effectiveness depends directly on their skill move rating and attributes. Lower rated players will perform slower and more error prone variants of some of these skill moves. These include low skill roulette, heel to heel, feint and exit, body feint and exit, yeah, stop and turn, drag back spin, simple rainbow. Skill move cancels. Some skill moves can now be cancelled. L2, R2, all fake shots. Feint forward and turn. 3-touch roulette. Lane change. 3-touch roulette? Okay. Turn and spin, stop and turn, fake pass, exit, scoop turn. New skill moves added. Feint forward and turn. Okay, cool. That stuff I'm going to learn in the actual thing. Oh, this one again. Yeah, this one you guys are full of crap on because we had a shit game for the whole year this year because of your inconsistent gameplay. So this is going to be bullshit again. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't trust you guys at all. General improvements plus community-based feedback. Community feedback is one of the main pillars for our gameplay team's focus while working on FIFA 21. We've been running forward-thinking feedback sessions since the launch of FIFA 20, even despite being kept physically apart by the ongoing global situation. As a result of this feedback, we also continue to that's all irrelevant. All online gameplay responsiveness efforts. As we have been covering throughout the FIFA 20 cycle, online gameplay responsiveness has been a key focus of our teams, especially those working in the FIFA Live space. Not for your company at all. To that end, we have been running feedback sessions focused in the area with a wide variety of our players, ranging from casual FIFA players all the way through the FIFA Pro player community. In many of these sessions, we specifically had players send us videos and examples of situations that they felt were gameplay responsiveness issues using some of the tools that were detailed in a previous pitch notes. While investigating these examples sent to us, we found several key themes. However, in most situations, what players associated with gameplay responsiveness was actually not related to online at all and also happened in offline matches. Okay. Finally, you understand that it's not just affected in the online. Okay. Took 8 years for me to convince them of that, but oh my god, man. I hate this thing the most in this game. This is what drags people back. This right here, it's like holding on to a shirt, like just connected to like a freaking huge ass building that you just cannot move from, okay? Okay. And also having an offline matches, they instead were related to elements of gameplay which we have worked to improve in FIFA 21. Don't trust you still. I really don't. These changes below apply to all forms of gameplay in FIFA 21, offline and online. Skill moves detection. We received examples where some very high skilled players were moving the right stick so fast that some of the inputs were not registering, which has now been corrected. We'll see about that. We also had examples where the right stick was getting flicked a number of times before an actual skill was executed, causing the intended skill to not be registered. This also been corrected. We'll see about that. In FIFA 20, requesting that a player's sprints would take precedence over a skill move request, sometimes canceling a skill move as detailed earlier. We are now prioritizing the inputs for the skill move over the request to sprint. Other changes that were detailed in the skill move improvement section of the article. Switching improvements. Improved multiple cases where no right stick switch would happen, for example, during some tackling situations or when quickly changing from offense to defense. Resolved multiple cases of unwanted auto switches. Addressed cases where players wouldn't lock to the player after a switch. Improved L1 and LB switches by prioritizing players that are related to the play. Stabilized the next player switch indicator to reduce an unnecessary indicator movement. General responsiveness. Improved animation transitions after controlling the ball. Reduced sensitivity of R2 to prevent unwanted knock-ons. Reduced sensitivity of R2 RT to prevent unwanted knock-ons. That one's a little bit bullshit because in the trailer, you guys still have that animation where when you press R trigger or R2 when you're running, they still do a heavily emphasized touch when they're close to the goalkeeper. Again, if that's a consistent thing, whatever, you know, if I can like compensate for that and it's just a consistent mechanic in your game, it is what it is, you know. Okay, so quality of life improvements. Thanks to feedback, we identified a few changes that could be made in gameplay to create a more enjoyable experience for everyone playing FIFA 21. Removal of some celebrations, including shush and A-OK foot celebrations. We are planning to make more changes in this area. Stay tuned. Removal of the walkback cinematic after a goal in online matches. Reduce the length of goal celebrations. Reduce the waiting time for multiple set pieces, which had all been set to 30 seconds at the launch of FIFA 20. 10, 15, 15, 20, 15, Volta Football only. Auto skip some animation sequence when the ball goes out of play in online matches. For example, when a player goes fetch the ball in a throw-in situations, or when the goalkeeper or when the keeper slowly walks to put the ball down for a goal kick. Reworked logic to improve detection of when the half and end of match should finish. Some people are super thing about the celebrations, but like taking them out to remove toxicity is the best thing possible. To be honest with you, what EA could have actually done is if you conceded a goal and you hate watching the celebration that a person wants to do, but they want the, because you obviously do it to annoy your opponent or whatever it is, the mental game, right? You're just being toxic. But what you could do is when you concede a goal, just put a different scene. You know what I'm saying? Like you could just show literally anything else other than the player celebrating, because the goal that they scored is the number value of it being a +1 is the most important part of it. But the celebration part, you don't have to watch if you're like, I don't know, like, let's just say, for instance, it could be an option, right? Like, you concede a goal, and you hold L1. You hold L1, right? And you don't have to watch the person doing the celebration. Or you could just watch the celebration, you know? It should be up to the person, like, to avoid this toxicity, you know? Concede a goal, whatever, move on, you know what I'm saying? Like, play the game. So I personally like that they removed it. I know some of you guys are gonna be like, it's just a celebration, but anything to remove toxicity. If you guys play FIFA 20 nowadays, you have to be a special breed of a person to continue playing this game in its current state. So most of the people you actually come up against are super toxic. So all these like characteristic traits, super noticeable. So I like that they removed it personally, right? But it's good that they decreased the like the animations of the cutscenes and stuff. Like, that's important. Just keep it going. Like, even when I score a beautiful goal, like I just want to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Competitive and core community feedback. We paid special attention to very specific changes that were being consistently brought up by our competitive and core community players during our feedback sessions with them. No ball collision with hands. Oh, finally. Outfield player hands and forearms are now permeable and should not collide with the ball, preventing handball situations from influencing the play in any other way. When we say permeable, we mean that the ball visually and physically will pass through the player's arm from below the elbow to his hands. I'm okay with that. Like, literally, that's what I've been saying for years. Just if it goes through my player's hands, I don't care, because I know that his body is the one that's going to be physical. So that's fine, because it's so annoying when you take a shot, the guy's like, boom, hits his hand. Like, no. So now it's like, because they do that, right? They do that, and it's a consistent thing. So it's like, oh my god, the ball went through my player's arms. Yeah, because in online, you don't want a penalty for a random play. Just let it, even if anything, when they do more contextual tackles, do this. And if the ball hits them over here, whatever, it goes through. You know, like, I don't care. It's just annoying that they get involved in the play with the hands, right? So it's good too. When a defender attempts to block a shot, but the ball hits their hand instead, preventing a goal. When they slide tackle, they go, ooh, you know, and then I hated that, so that's good. Quick tactics, team press timer. We saw feedback around players being able to waste time in sometimes unrealistic ways, and that it was difficult for the defending team to try to get the ball back in these situations. To address this, we revamped the team press quick tactic to no longer result in a constant pressure defensive tactic. It now triggers a temporary auto press behavior on demand, and with a cooldown timer that prevents it from being overused. Manual switch to offside trap player. Allow manual switching to a player that is performing an offside trap. Ground pass assistance changes to minimize the avoidance of an opponent's players when making an assisted ground pass, specifically in situations where the pass due to avoiding the defender would end up going behind a running receiver. Jockey acceleration, deceleration. Players with a low defensive awareness attribute to have a reduced jockey effectiveness in order to encourage jockeying with actual defenders as opposed to forward players. Goalkeeper save consistency, improved multiple goalkeeper behaviors, including when to punch versus when to catch, more consistency on reflex saves. I don't trust you guys in any of the goalkeeping stuff, so we're going to pass that. Throw in positioning, better position to provide a quicker targets for faster and more urgent throws. Chip shot accuracy, improved chip shot targeting system to improve consistency and accuracy of these shots. Yeah, because chip shots are completely irrelevant. Like, dude, a goalie will be pushing you, and you'll do a chip shot, and they'll miss the net completely, which is super irritating. We also have a couple of new features that are exclusive on kickoff mode. Don't care about this, to be honest with you guys. Wait. This is kickoff stuff, so I don't think this is relevant, to be honest. Kickoff only again, many more. There are a lot of mechanics and smaller changes we've added this year, besides everything mentioned above, to mention some. Hundreds new goalkeeper anti on penalty kicks, new goalkeeper anti on penalty kicks, turn off the trainer as default, new rules settings to call a handball for goalkeepers when handling. New rule settings to call a handball for goalkeepers when handling the ball outside the box, turn off time finishing mechanic for beginner through professional difficulties, multiple new celebrations, including the finger swipe and the selfie next to ad boards, player signature celebrations for. Okay. So again, most of this stuff is going to be for attacking AI stuff. It's mostly attacking AI stuff, defensive awareness, the types of animations that they do. All these commands for L2, R2, R2, RT, like all that, you have to, these are all mechanics you have to learn in order for you to, hold on, wait. Pass. You make the pass first, and then whatever the player was before, you can trigger that run afterwards. That's cool. I like that. Okay. That's what I was like, I failed to understand in the beginning. I like this offside trap stuff though, man. I like that a lot. It's really good to hold your run, and then for this guy to like back up, go down, and then you have to have this guy manually defend to block those situations. I don't trust you guys for gameplay responsiveness, though. That's irrelevant to me. That's super irrelevant to me until you guys actually specifically fix the issue. If I play during the daytime and I experience the inconsistent gameplay again, all these words that you mentioned last year, bullshit to me, okay? All right, guys, that's pretty much it. We reviewed everything. Again, these are all words. Words mean nothing to me. Actions do. So when we try out the game, we'll see what's up with all that stuff. But in regards to specific features added to the game, I do like the specific features because they're going to be noticeable regardless. I don't know about the 5 different players making the runs because that could be an overpowered thing, and we'll see what's up with that. But because what it seems like to me is that people are going to be super defensive again. But as long as you can attack the play nicely and the attacking AI is smart enough to utilize empty space properly, because guys, if someone parks the bus in this game, it looks like you could specifically break it down because of better attacking AI that you can control, right? So we'll see what's up with that. But again, you have to play the game to really see what the gist of all that is. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this review. I'll catch you guys for the next video. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.